Hello, welcome to What is Your Why? I'm going to share my screen here. And today, we're going to talk about why do you do what you do? What is your why? And I am going over this book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Now, we're just going to be able to touch a few things. This book is just awesome, not just as a business book, but as a personal book. As you can see, I've tagged a lot of pages in here. So Amazon, get it. It's well worth it. But join me. I am Pat Ackley-Roth. I am a certified transformational life coach and a life mastery consultant. And I welcome you here today. And hopefully this will get you to thinking, why do you do what you do? Not just in business, but in who you choose as friends, who you date, where you work. Why do you work there? Why do you do certain things? You know, we're all brought up with different belief systems. So enjoy, and thank you for joining me. Now, my attention today for you, we have several things to go over. Why are some people and organizations more innovative, more influential, and more profitable than others? And why do some command greater loyalty from their customers and their employees alike? And even among the successful, why are so few able to repeat their success over and over? Think about it. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. When we have it in our heart, a passion of why we want to do something. Look at Danny Thomas. Look what he started. Look at his legacy of what's going on and on, even after he's passed. We all understand his why, to help those children and not to be a cost to them. People like Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs, and the Wright brothers. They might have little in common, but they all started with a why. Any major big business that you know of started with a why. They had a purpose. Their natural ability to start with why enabled them to inspire those around them and to achieve remarkable things. Now, leaders who have had the greatest influence in the world all think, act, and communicate in the exact same way. And it's completely opposite of what everyone else does. It sets them apart. It's different. That's why they're successful. This is the powerful idea of the golden circle. And it provides a framework upon which organizations can be built. Movements like Martin Luther King can be led, and people can be inspired. It all starts with why. Think of your pastors. They talk to you, they inspire you to walk in the way of God. It all starts with why. And this is our great circle, our golden circle. Any organization can explain what it does. They make cars. Or someone can imagine how they do it in an assembly line. But very few can clearly articulate why. Why is not money or profit. Those are always the results. Why does the organization exist? Why does it do the things that it does? And why do customers really buy from one company or another? Why are people loyal to some leaders but not to others? Think of someone that will get into a car and drive 100 miles or maybe further to buy a specific car. They're loyal to GMCs when there's a Ford dealer right down the street. That's loyalty. But that GMC has put out certain things that that person connects with. They understand their why. Your why is already in your heart. If you look at here, the actions is the what we do or expect, our behavior. We're governed by laws, rules, and procedures. It might be a job. We go to work for a company. That's what we do. We're an accountant. We're a lawyer. We're a dressmaker. We're a life coach. Then we have the how. That's our intellect. It's how we think. It's our attitudes. It's our beliefs, what we were brought up with. Thoughts, philosophy, politics, our policies, standards. That's accomplished by education. We're taught that when we go to school, when we go to college. That's how we get things done. And why? That's in our heart. Our heart needs a reason. And some people ignore that. That's why the leaders stand out. They don't ignore that. And there's levels of why. Let's look at them. These are heart connections. One is personal growth, self-actualization, my gifts. Why do you go to college? Because you really want to do something. You really want to be an engineer. It's in your heart. It's your gift. And social responsibilities. Good for the group. You know, my ministry. And 3 is your kingdom. That's sharing God's heart of personal and social responsibility. That's his love. Remember your why. Starting with why works in big businesses and small businesses. In the nonprofit world and in politics. Think of the nonprofit Sandy Kersey. I think that was the name. In Unstoppable. She builds schools and digs wells in Africa. A huge, unstoppable foundation has helped so many children. Look at why she does it. It's not for the glory. It's not for the money. It's for the love in her heart. It's her way of serving God. Those who start with why, like Sandy, they never manipulate. They inspire. People want to support her. They want to help her because they understand her why. And people follow them not because they have to. They follow them because they want to. When we have a Dream Builder Live, we will take up a collection for the Unstoppable Foundation. We collect thousands and thousands of dollars. And it all goes for good because we understand what her reason is, why she started it, why she keeps doing it. When you find your why, you'll find a way to make it happen. Now, if you ask most businesses why their customers are their customers or their employees are their employees, most will tell you it's because of superior quality, features, prices, and service. Most have no clue why their customers are their customers and why their employees are their employees. There's 2 ways to influence human behavior. Manipulate it by dropping the price, promotions, rebates, fear, and peer pressure. And then there's inspiration. You're wanting what is offered. When companies don't have a clear sense of why their customers are their customers, they tend to rely on disappropriate number of manipulations to get what they need. Disproportional. number of manipulations to get what they need. Manipulations work. Sales, rebates, manipulation at its best. And then there's fear. Look at the pandemic. Look what fear has done to people. Afraid to leave their homes. Whether it's real or perceived, it's arguably the most powerful manipulation of all. When fear is employed, facts are incidental. Deeply seated in our biological drive to survive, that emotion cannot be quickly wiped away with facts and figures. We use fear to raise our children. I'll take away your allowance. You'll be on restriction. We use it to motivate people to obey code of ethics. You're going to get a ticket if you speed. Fear is regularly used in public service ads, say to promote child safety or AIDS awareness, or the need to wear masks. Every 36 seconds, someone dies of a heart attack. Do you have radon? Your neighbor does. If anyone has ever sold you anything with a warning of fear, the consequences if you don't buy it, they're manipulating you to buy their product. Beware. And then there's aspirations. Now, they tempt us towards something desirable. 6 steps to a happier life. Work those abs to your dream dress size. In 6 short weeks, you can be rich. All these messages are manipulation and tempt us with the things that we want to have, or to be the person that we wish that we were. Though positive in nature, aspiration messages are most effective with those who lack discipline or have a nagging fear or insecurity that they don't have the ability to achieve their dreams on their own. They work on that emotion. Think of your gym memberships. You buy them, you have very good intentions. They put all these messages: work out, lose this weight, get in shape. You buy it, but you don't use it. It lays in the drawer. It's a short-term response for a long-term desire. And then peer pressure. Oh my, our children nowadays have so much more peer pressure than we ever did. But even as adults, we get it from companies. We get it from other people that might be in a committee or somebody that we're working with. Someone at work, a neighbor, might be your mother-in-law, can be anywhere. It attempts you to buy their product or do what they want you to do. Now, I'm speaking a lot of this towards a company, but I want you to keep in mind, so much of this applies to your personal life also. Think about where you can use it in your life. 4 out of 5 dentists prefer Trident, thinking that if you don't, you're not good enough. Peer pressure works because we believe that the majority or the experts might know more than we do, and because we fear that we may be wrong. And celebrity endorsements are always used to appeal to our desire to be like them. We put them up on a pedestal, and if they say it's okay, we think we just got to do it. No, we don't. Beware. And our youth, oh, they are so impressionable. Gotta have those $200 sneakers because my friends have them. And I don't know about you, but my mother says, oh, if your friends jumped off of a bridge, would you jump off of a bridge? I think a lot of us have heard that, and we know better. But our children are at such an impressionable age. And that peer pressure really, really takes a toll. I know there are many more suicides now in young people than there ever were before. And I relate a lot of that to peer pressure. It's very heartbreaking. Don't wear the right clothes. Don't drive the right car. Go to the right schools. It's pressure. Look at the incident in Hollywood where the mothers paid dearly thousands of dollars to get their girls into college. Got to be the right place with the right people. Novelty. That announces the launch of a mobile phone manufacturer's newest entry to the mobile phone market. Millions of people rush out to get one, and very soon they're out of date. Many times as soon as you walk out the store door or drive the car off of the lot. In the 1970s, there were only 2 types of Colgate toothpaste. Competition increased. Sales started to slip. New products with new features came out. And it goes on. Same thing with the telephones, cell phones. Colgate now has 32 different types. Apple's iPhone is the same. Always updating, and we want the latest. Loyalty is when people are willing to turn down a better product or a better price to continue doing business with you. If you think about it, say there's a Ford dealership right down the block from you, and there's a GMC 100 miles from you, but you're a loyal GMC customer. So you would drive the 100 miles to go see what they've got before you would even go to the Ford dealer to see what they've got. So even a lower price isn't always enough to tempt you. Loyalty isn't easily won. Repeat business is. All it takes is more manipulation. Manipulations lead to transactions, not loyalty. There's an alternative perspective. We're going to look at that. There's a few leaders who choose to inspire rather than manipulate in order to motivate people. They think, act, and communicate exactly the same way. And it's the complete opposite of the rest of us. They follow a naturally occurring pattern called the golden circle. Steve Jobs was a perfect example of this. He thought his own way. He thought different. Why in the middle, then how, then what on the outside. This golden circle finds order and predictability in human behavior. Now remember, this is not just work. This is in relationships, in the friendship that you have, how you relate to your mate or your children. It's human behavior. It helps us understand why we do what we do. It provides compelling evidence of how much more we can achieve if we remind ourselves to start everything we do by asking why. It all starts from the inside out. Why? What? A company knows what they do. Describe a product or process. Apple's iPhone. How? How something is different or better. All the features that they add to it to make it a new product. And then there's the why. What is your purpose, your cause, or belief? Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? Why should anyone care? Many companies go from what to why. That's the clearest to the fuzziest. We say what we do. We sometimes say how we do it. But we rarely say why we do what we do. Think about a person that says, I work for so-and-so and we make cars on an assembly line. Not very exciting, is it? Why we do what we do is the exciting part. Inspired companies think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Remember, the why is at the heart. Apple that combined with their uncanny ability to attract a cult-like following and uses the principles of the golden rule, the golden circle. Everything that we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo, Steve Jobs said, is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. And we happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. What companies do are external factors, but why they do it is something deeper. Compare computers. They're all corporate structures that make computers. This is why Apple has earned a remarkable level of flexibility. People buy computers, but they also buy other products from them. It's not what Apple does that distinguishes them. It's why they do it. Their products give life to their cause, regardless of the products they make or industry in which they operate. It is always clear that Apple thinks different. When the why is absent, imbalance is produced and manipulations thrive. They have to do that in order to get you to buy. Then uncertainty increases for buyers. Oh, I don't know if I really want to buy from him or not. Instability increases for sellers and stress increases for all. Now, clarity of why is important because clarity is power. When you can clearly see something and understand something, understanding that company's why they get up in the morning, why they do what they do, who benefits by that, that's power. For the golden circle to work, each of the pieces must be in balance and in the right order. It all starts with clarity. You have to know why you do what you do. If people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So it follows that if you don't know why, you do what you do. How will anyone else? Discipline of how and consistency of what is the right order and is required. If you don't know why, you can't know how. When why, how, and what are in balance, authenticity is achieved and the buyer feels fulfilled. When not in balance, you have stress. Let me tell you my story. You know what I love about my life? I get to wake up every day to do something that I love. I get to inspire people to do things that inspire them. It's the most wonderful thing in the world and very, very rewarding. In fact, the best part is trying to figure out all the different ways that I can do that. And everybody's different. Every situation is different. And that inspires me to help them. It really is amazing. I meet people, wonderful people from all over the world. I do Zoom all the time. And my coaching is fun. I'm very lucky that I'm doing something that I love. I've actually been able to do pretty well because of it. Now, do you hear the why I do what I do? Do you know why I'm in business? To inspire people to do the things that inspire them. I love my life. I love what I do. I love people. I have a promise for you. At the end of my presentation, if this resonates with you, I have a gift for you. So hang in there. We will get to it. We have some more material I'd love to share with you. Trust begins to emerge when you have a sense that another person or an organization is driven by things other than their own self-gain. And it's not just all about the money. With trust comes a sense of value, real value, not just value equated with money. Value is the transference of trust. You can't convince someone to have value, just as you can't convince someone to trust you. You have to earn trust by communicating and demonstrating that you share the same values and beliefs. Think about when you're dating your mate or your friends. You want to have those things in common with them. You share the same values and your beliefs. You have to talk about your why you do what you do, and prove it with what you do, your actions. A why is just a belief. It might be something you were brought up to believe, or you learned it at college. You learned it from a friend. A why is just a belief. Hows are the actions that you take to realize that belief. And what's are the results of those actions? Let me say that again. A why is just a belief. Hows are the actions we take to realize that belief. And what are the results of those actions? Think in future tense. If you believe that you would make a good doctor, that's your why. How is going to college. That's the actions you're going to take. The results is you actually become a doctor. It could be a housewife. It doesn't have to be a doctor. It could be anything that is in your heart that you want. When all three are in balance, the trust is built and value is perceived. When we share values and beliefs with others, we form trust. Trust is so valuable, and especially in business, but also very much so in your personal life. What all great leaders have in common is the ability to find good fits to join their organizations. Those who believe what they believe. Southwestern Airlines is a great example of a company with a knack for hiring good fits. Their ability to find people who embody their cause makes it much easier for them to provide great service. Herb Kelleher famously said, and I love this quote, "You don't hire for skills, you hire for attitude." You can always teach skills. Think about it. The last job that you went to apply for, did you talk about your skills? Or did you walk in with a good attitude? If you walked in with a good attitude, you stand a pretty good chance of getting that job or going to the second step of the process. You don't hire for skills, you hire for attitude. You can always teach skills. It's all fine and good. The problem is, which attitude? Hire people who are passionate for your why, your purpose, the cause, your belief, and you have an attitude that fits your culture. Once that's established, only then should you set your skill set and experience be evaluated. The best money can buy, not buy a good attitude. Attitude is thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's the same in a relationship and a marriage. Attitude can make or break so many situations, whether it is a confrontation with someone, a negotiation, a relationship, a friendship, a marriage. Attitude is so much. Just if you just think it's your thoughts, it's your feelings, and it's your actions. That's what attitude is. Excuse me. My throat gets dry. Now, I want to share with you a results formula. Remember I said it starts with thoughts in your head. Think upside down and from the inside out. Starts with your thoughts. Those thoughts, they lead to feelings. I'd like to have a Cadillac Escalade. Feelings. Leather would feel really great. Feelings lead to actions. I go to the car dealership and I test drive a car. Actions lead to results. I buy the car. Thoughts, feelings, actions, results. It happens every time. Just remember, thoughts cause feelings, cause actions, cause results. But a lot of people, instead of doing the successful way, they do, because I can't do it because I want to do this, but I can't because. It's because. And they never do it. They never move forward. You have to put action in there. If it all goes from thoughts to feelings, it's just a dream. It's a wish. It won't happen until you put action to it. Then you'll get results. And if you don't like the results, what are your thoughts? Look back at your thoughts. Your results never lie. It all starts in your thoughts. The results never lie. You want the results to change? Come up here. Bring your thoughts up. It works every time. Great companies don't hire skilled people and motivate them. They hire already motivated people and inspire them. You ever seen a place that hired someone that they come in and they just had a lot of energy? They were very upbeat and positive. And when they were asked to do something, instead of whining or complaining or just really hesitating, they jumped in. I belong to a wonderful team, Toastmasters group out of Yankton, South Dakota. Excuse me. Wonderful group. Before the meeting ends, we all know what we're going to do at the next meeting. Well, we need someone to do this. Someone will say, I'll do it. Nothing. I'll do it. We don't hesitate. Wherever there's a need, we jump in and we fill that spot. When you go to an employer, go with that attitude. They don't hire skilled people and motivate them. They hire already motivated people and then they inspire them. Be that person. People are either motivated or they're not. Unless you give motivated people something to believe in, something bigger than their job to work towards, they will motivate themselves to find a new job and you'll be stuck with whoever is left. They'll quit. They'll leave. They have nothing to work for. Inspire them. Give them something to work for, not necessarily always a pay increase. Appreciation goes a long, long ways. Awards, acknowledgments, many of those things. And you might say that's a form of manipulation. Well, maybe it is, but I look at it as inspired. I like that. In this book, there's a story here I would like to read to you that tells the difference in workers. And it's called Give Them a Cathedral Story. Consider the story of two stonemasons. You walk up to the first stonemason and you ask, do you like your job? He looks up at you and replies, I've been building this wall for as long as I can remember. The work is monotonous. I work in the scorching hot sun all day. The stones are heavy and lifting them day after day can be backbreaking. I'm not even sure if this project will be completed in my lifetime. But it's a job and it pays the bills. You thank him for his time and you walk on. About 30 feet away, you walk up to a second mason. You ask him the same question. Do you like your job? He looks up and replies, I love my job. I'm building a cathedral. Sure, I've been working on this wall for as long as I can remember. And yes, the work is sometimes monotonous. I work in the scorching hot sun all day. The stones are heavy, and lifting them day after day can be backbreaking. I'm not even sure if this project will be complete in my lifetime, but I'm building a cathedral. What these two stonemasons are doing is exactly the same. The difference is one has a sense of purpose. He feels like he belongs. He comes to work to be a part of something bigger than the job that he's doing. Simply having a sense of why changes his entire view of his job. It makes him more productive and certainly more loyal. Whereas the first stonemason would probably take another job for more pay. The inspired stonemason works longer hours, will probably turn down an easier, higher paying job to stay and be part of the higher cause. The second stonemason doesn't see himself as any more or less than the guy making the stained glass or even the architect. They're all working together to build the cathedral. It's this bond that creates camaraderie. And that camaraderie and trust is what brings success. People work together for a common cause. Companies with a strong sense of why are able to inspire their employees. Those employees are more productive and innovative, and the feeling they bring to work attracts other people eager to work there as well. It's not such a stretch to see why the companies that we love to do business with are also the best employers. When people inside the company know why they come to work, people outside of the company are vastly more likely to understand why the company is special. In these organizations, from the management on down, no one sees himself as any more or less than anyone else. They all need each other. That attitude works from the management down. And I know one of the things I got out of this book too was that it starts at the top. It's how the management looks at the next ones and the next ones and the next ones. Management doesn't look their nose down at the people down in the plant working. The people in the plant are able to talk to the management. There's communication there. They're all working together for the same thing. The role of a leader is not to come up with all the great ideas. It's to create an environment in which great ideas can happen. And sometimes those greatest ideas are coming from the employees. It's the people outside of the company, those on the front lines, who are best qualified to find new ways of doing things. At one time in my life, I was the head of purchasing for a large fiberglass plant. And the guys would call up and say, I need this item. Well, I didn't know what it was like. Said, I'll be there in a minute. I would physically go down into the plant, show me what it is you want, and tell me what it does. After that, I would be able to go back and get the exact part that they needed because I understood the process. But had I not gone down into the plant, I wouldn't have known. It also had another avenue. That employee in the plant knew that I valued their knowledge, or I wouldn't have asked for their information. So it was a mutual respect. It works. It's the people inside the company, those in the front lines, those in the plants, who are the best qualified to find new ways of doing things. They might know a new shortcut too. Better ways of applying it. If the people inside a company are told to come to work and just do their job, that's all they'll do. If they're constantly reminded why the company was founded and told to always look for ways to bring that cause to life while performing their job, however, then they will be more than their job because they will know that they're valued. They will know that they can voice their ideas, that they'll be heard. With balance, those who are good fits can trust that everyone is on board for the same reason. It's also the only way that each individual and system can trust that the others are acting to leave the organization in a better way than we found it. To quote General Robinson, this is the root of passion. Leave the organization in a better way than we found it. Passion comes from feeling like you're a part of something that you believe in, something bigger than yourself. If people don't trust that a company is organized to advance the why, then the passion is diluted. Think about Danny Thomas, when he started St. Jude's. He had a passion there. If I remember correctly, he had a family member that had had a medical issue. It's still running strong long after he's been gone. His daughter, Marlo Thomas, believed in his cause, and she was able to carry on. There's no doubt in my mind that after she's gone, it will still go on. Look at the thousands of lives that has affected, because he knew his why, and she knew his why, and it was passed down generational. Maybe one of her children will carry on afterwards. We don't know. Start with your why. The how will come. What is your why? What's in your heart that would create the life that you love living? What's your why? Does it excite you? Will it cause you to grow? You might have to go back to school. Move, relocate. Does it align with your core values? That would be something that, say if it was a dishonest action, that just isn't you. That's your core values. You wouldn't do that if it doesn't align with your core values. So does it excite you? Will it cause you to grow? Does it align with your core values? Do you realize you can't do it without God's help? We can't do anything without God's help. Our higher power, spirit, whatever you want to call it. I call it God, but you may call it whatever you want. Is there something in it for others? This is a wonderful dream if you can say yes to all three of these questions. What is your why? I'm going to teach you 3 dream builder principles. Number 1 is designing a dream. Decide what you want and go into great detail. You wouldn't tell a builder, build me a nice house. They want a drawing. They want dimensions. They want specifics. When you dream in specifics. Don't just say a house. Go into great detail. Maybe it's a business that you'd like to open. Draw it out. Describe it. What would you make? What would you charge? Where would you be at? Would you buy? Would you rent? No, in great detail. What is your why? What do you really, really, really want? Deep in your heart. Something you may have put on the shelf a long time ago. If you could think anything is possible, nothing could be not accepted. No amount of money, your age, weight, education, none of that stuff was going to stop you. Anything was possible. What would you love? What would you really, really want? Ask yourself, what would I love in my life? Now, there are 4 areas that we create dreams in. That would be in our relationships. Are you looking for the love of your life? After going through this program, I found the love of my life. I can attest to that. Health and well-being. Are you wanting to set a goal, a dream that you want to be a certain weight? Get off certain meds. Vocation, your work. Is there a certain job that you would like to have? Do you have to go back to college for it? Do you need to relocate? Who do you need to contact? Network. You'd be surprised where the openings might be. Someone might just happen to say, someone's looking for something like that. You might want to go apply. You never know. And time and money freedom. To have the money to be able to go on vacations that you want to go to, spend time with family. But think about all 4 of these areas and maybe just put even just one in each one. But I would encourage you to work on one at a time. You might be working on 2 of them, but one of them needs to have priority. Say if it's your vacation. I have been training since 2014 in my coaching certification. I have taken many, many classes, travel for training. I love it. I continue. I will never, ever stop learning. I will never retire from living. So whatever it's going to take, remember your why. This is a time machine. Remember from Back to the Future? If we had more time, I would take you through an exercise, excuse me, where we would imagine it's 3 years from now. And what would your life be like? Remember, anything is possible. I really would like for you to write this down. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I want you to write down what your life is going to be like in 3 years from now. And anything is possible. Go ahead, go. Right now, just pick one. Many people will start with health because that's pretty universal. You want to get healthy. You want to lose weight. You want to get off blood pressure medicine. Get off diabetes medicine. What are you going to look like in 3 years when you've reached that goal weight? Remember your why. Your why could be as simple as, I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I want to provide an income for my children. I want to put money away for retirement. I want to change jobs. I want to live in a foreign country. Anything is possible. The first time I took my husband to a Dream Builder Live was in California right before we were married. And on his dream, he put, I would love to travel and have a motorhome. That was in February. We were married in April. And in May, we bought a motorhome and we did travel. 3 years later, we went to another Dream Builder Live in Dallas. I said, John, remember what you wrote on your dream 3 years ago? I had to remind him. You wanted to travel, you wanted a motorhome. Oh, the look on his face was priceless. I said, you're doing exactly what you dreamed. Do you know it happened within a year of him stating that dream? So you'll be surprised. Keep a notebook, update it, change it, rewrite it. That's okay. It's your dream. Okay, let's go to principle number 2. In building your dream, you have to decide on your dream. Up until now, we've just been dreaming it up. But now we need to take the step of deciding on the dream. I'm going to buy this piece of property. Instead of just saying, I'd like to buy 10 acres, that's dreaming. Now we're going to say, I want to buy 10 acres in this county. Okay. When you decide, everything changes. Great leaders decide quickly and rarely change their mind. Yes, you want to know the facts, but the key is that you decide quickly. When I met my husband, I knew within a half an hour he was the one. I just knew that I knew ahead of time what I was looking for. And I made the decision. He's the one. Say we're going to do a dream on the land. Now, one of my mentors is Bob Proctor. I study under Bob. He said there is a single mental move that you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you will ever encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. We have a name for this magical mental activity. It's called decision. Once you decide, you commit to it. Once you commit to it, don't worry about the how. The how will come. Just know why you want it, what you want. Now, there's the Wright brothers. There was another man that was trying to do the same thing as the Wright brothers. These two brothers had very little financial to work with, very limited equipment. They would try one and it'd fall. They would take those parts and salvage those and rebuild, try another one. They did that time and time again. There was another gentleman who had financial backing, the latest equipment. They never succeeded because they were not doing it for the same reason. The Wright brothers wanted people to have another view of the world. They wanted to be able to fly like the birds, to get from one place to the other faster. The other gentleman, it was merely competition. All that money didn't make a difference because he didn't have a why in his heart like the Wright brothers did. They succeeded and he didn't. You could be one of those people too. You must decide. Remember your why. Do what you can with what you have from where you are. Maybe you don't have everything that you need at this time, but you have something to start with. When I started my sewing business, I worked out of my house. When this building came up for sale, first went and looked at it. And I looked it over. I could put this in this room and this in this room. That was a Friday. Over the weekend, I went home and I measured all my equipment. I had it all shoved into one room. It was very crowded. But I measured all my things. I wrote a schematic out how it would fit. On Sunday, I called the agent. I said, can we go look at it again? She said, sure. She met me. I took measurements. I went home and I took those measurements. I compared to my drawings and stuff. And I called her on Monday. And I said, let's do it. 3 days. I have a 3-day policy. If I'm a strong feeling about it on the third day, as I was on that first day, I go with it. If I'm going to change my mind, it's going to usually be within that 3-day period. And I've done this for several years, but recently I heard this same theory from someone else. So it works for me, but do what you can with what you have from where you are. I did have a room in a house that I could work with. I was building up customers. I was doing work. Then when this became available, then I took the next step. But I did what I could with where I was, with what I had. That leads us to dream building principle number 3, befriending your fear. All right, bring it on. I'll get you. I'm not afraid. I can make this happen. And you think, oh my gosh, what if I fail? But what if you don't? What if it could be easy? Many, many, many leaders start and fail, start and fail. You see someone, Donald Trump, he didn't just start out and go do it and it was a great thing. He had his failures. They've all had their failures. Thomas Edison made 10,000 light bulbs before he got one that worked. And when someone asked him about his 10,000 failures, he said, those weren't failures. Those were experiments. I don't have failures in my life. I have experiments. My ex-husband is an experiment. It taught me what didn't work. So now I've got what does work. Edison learned something from every one of those experiments until he accomplished his goal. But if he hadn't gone through those before, he wouldn't have been able to accomplish his goals. So what if you fail? But what if you don't? You got to keep trying. Be that little guy. Bring it on. Think about when you started walking. You got up, you fell down. You got up, and you fell down. Never did you just sit down and just say, well, it just wasn't meant to be a walker, and just sat for the rest of your life. No, you kept going. It's the same way in life. Now look at this little guy. He has support. Look around you. I don't know of anyone that doesn't have some kind of support. If you have a dream and you know your why and you're passionate about it, you can inspire others. They will support you. This mother is supporting this little guy until he can do it on his own. Some people stay with us forever for support. Some people, it's for a period of time and they've served their purpose. Look that fear in the face and just say, get out of here. Might have happened then, not anymore. Get out of here. Great dream builders, they're willing to fail and rise again. They remember their why. Oprah Winfrey, she got fired by TV executives because she wasn't fit for TV. Who had the last laugh there? Steven Spielberg. He got rejected from USC Film School 3 times. Look what the world would have missed out on had he accepted that. But he kept going. J.K. Rowling. Her first Harry Potter novel was rejected from 12 publishing houses. But she kept going. She knew she had something good. She kept going. Bruce Springsteen. He got fired from his first band because he was told that he couldn't sing. Look at the music that man has created. But he believed in himself. He believed in his dream. He knew what his why was. Henry Ford, great example. Failed at 3 different businesses before starting the Ford Motor Company at the age of 53. You are never too old to dream. Don't let anybody tell you that. Maybe you're not going to go join the Olympics. But if there's something in your heart that you really want to do, do it. I want a zip line. I really do. I'm going to do it. If I'm 85 when I finally get to do it, I'm going to zip line. Don't let age stop you from dreaming and doing what makes you happy. fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great dreams. We all have fear, and we've all faced failure. That makes us human. But remember your why. When the fear rises, what can you do? Remember your why. Write it on a card. Carry that card in your wallet. Bob Proctor does that. He has his gold card. He carries it in his pocket. It's laminated. Every time he touches that, it reminds him that was his goal. That was his dream. Whatever it takes, put a sign up. Whatever it takes. Now we need to reconnect with our dream. What's one thing that you could do today? Take one step that you could do to move you in that direction of your dream. Remember your why. Even if it's a small baby step, every little baby step gets you from point A to point B. And that's what you want. You want to go from where you are to where you want to be. And it's one step at a time. It's okay if it's baby steps. You might take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That's very common. It's very acceptable. It is okay. But keep moving forward. Now, what we covered today, what is your why? Principle number 1, we designed your dream in detail. 2, we decided on the dream. We made that decision, that commitment. And 3, we're befriending your fear. Look it straight in the eye and keep going. Don't let it stop you. Now, I have a gift for you, as I promised before. I want you to take a picture of this slide. I'll leave it up for just a little bit because it has very valuable information on it. My gift to you is that I'm going to give you a free 30-minute consultation to talk about your dream and your why. Now, this is normally $250, but I am gifting this to you because I value your dream and I want to know your why. I would love to be able to work with you. So please either contact me, either the phone number, you can text me, or you can email me. Let me know if you're interested in a strategy session or learning more about personal coaching. Or I can also come to your group and speak for you. All of my things are done over Zoom now because of the COVID. Things will soon be starting to change back, but for right now, it's all done over the Zoom. But please feel free, contact me. I would love to hear you. I'd love to help you. William H. Murray said, until one is committed, there's hesitancy, the chance to draw back. And that's always ineffectiveness. What is your why? I hope I have stirred this up in you to make you start to think, to make you curious, to make you realize that you can do this. You truly, truly can do this. I know that you're a spiritual being having a human body. Our spirit comes into us. And this body is nothing but a shell that we use while we're here on this earth. And God is within you. If you stand up, hold your hands out. Your infinite line is from your head to your toes. It's a straight connection with God. This hand is the beginning of your life. This hand is the end of your life. What you do in that finite line is what you do with your life. And where these two cross, it's the current, it's the present. It's what you're doing now. So what you do now makes a difference in what happens on this line. Infinite and finite. It's the human cross. Make your heart grow. Make your life happy. I believe that we are all far more capable of any condition, situation, or circumstance that we might be facing. I know everyone has had rough times in their spot. I have too. Life hasn't always been easy. I don't choose to dwell on the negative. I'm not a Pollyanna, but I do believe that God gives us gifts. He gives us dreams, and he gives us the ability to go after them. What is your why? Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. I welcome you to contact me. I have loved having you here this afternoon. And please feel free to let me know what your why is. When you find a dream inside your heart, don't let it go. Dreams are the tiny seeds from which beautiful tomorrows grow. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Have a great, great day. Bye for now.